Alright guys, welcome again to another episode of Dr. OJ and
Tolu!
See what I did there?
I see what you did. So I was like, why do you always take it up when you say Tolu? I don't know. It just clicked from day one and it just seemed like our thing. And Tolu! I love it. Welcome back, Tolu. What's up? What's happening?
I'm good. I'm loving this weather.
It's Thanksgiving.
It's my weather.
We try to be cool. See, do you know actually fashion-wise, fall, winter are my best.
That's my favorite.
I love it because we get to layer up, we get to show our style, we get to do all kinds of things like we're layering and all this stuff.
Yeah.
You can never go wrong.
At all.
Alright guys, it is Thanksgiving week and we are ever so grateful.
Absolutely.
2022. Did I say 2022?
Well, you're
I'm already in 2022. I'm projecting.
Okay. It's okay.
I'm projecting, but 2021,
yeah.
Thanksgiving is extra special.
Of course, because we've been through a lot this year. Man.
Last year's Thanksgiving, I don't know, where were you? What were you doing Thanksgiving last year?
Last year, I was at home actually, because my whole family is in a different continent.
And
So,
a lot of people were at home because
Yeah.
last year we were still gradually getting out of lockdown,
Of
or we were
course.
still
Yeah.
mostly in lockdown mode. So
Yeah.
people were not going anywhere.
Of course.
Things were really sad for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, we had lost friends and family.
I know.
The news was very morbid.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? We are here.
Absolutely.
2021.
Survivors.
Celebrating Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So for this episode, guys, we are going to be sharing some personal journeys, things that in the past seemed like the worst things ever.
Of course.
And now we are thankful that those things actually happened and we're here today sharing the story with you. Hopefully we're able to connect and resonate and encourage you to say, you know what? Don't worry. It's going to be okay. Or you might hear our stories and say, me too. I can totally relate to that. All right, guys. On this episode, we'll be right back to share our stories. But don't forget, if this is your first time, welcome. And don't forget to subscribe, turn your notifications on, because guess what? We are here every single week bringing you education, entertainment, all types of deal to help make your life better.
Don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys.
Welcome.
All right, so I'm going to start with my own personal story, right? So, of course, we're still going to hear from Tolu, but guys, don't worry, I'm not going to make you cry. But my story really is one of triumph, and some of it was self-inflicted, depending on what perspective you might look at it. Because sometimes when bad things happen to us, we often want to blame someone.
Yeah.
But I think over the years, I have learned to become a lot more accountable. So 2016, I decided to file for divorce. And the reasons that led me into that decision-making process is a whole lot of backstory that I'm not going to go into. But I decided to make that leap because I felt like it was the best thing for my future. Now, one thing that I learned really quickly was the fact that whether you leave somebody or they leave you, everybody gets hurt.
Absolutely.
Everybody experiences the pain of separation. Even when you're walking away from a situation that you know you truly want to get away from, it's not for you, but there is just something about detachment, separation, that really gets to you emotionally. So I had to deal with that for a couple of months, years, just walking through the trauma. But I think the biggest part was I didn't think through the whole process of starting over.
Yeah.
And I wasn't starting over by myself.
With children.
I was starting over with children. So I was not responsible for just myself alone.
Yeah.
And I felt like at that point, I quickly started to blame myself because I felt like I was really jeopardizing their lives. And I felt like I had made a very selfish decision.
Yeah.
Even though there was a lot of justification, and it was the best decision that I made. So it was the best decision that I have made, because a lot of the things that I am doing today, because I do a lot of reflection and I measure a lot.
Yeah.
In 5 years of being by myself, I have accomplished a whole lot more than I did 10 years of marriage. So for me, that measurable growth, priceless.
Of course.
But it wasn't an easy journey.
Yeah.
It was very, very tough. It was financially tough. It was emotionally daunting. And it was horrible because for the first 2 years, it just felt like I was in an ocean and there were a lot of sharks swimming around.
Wow.
People everywhere wanted to take advantage.
Yeah.
I was getting different types of propositions and I was like, what? And I was thinking like, really? Like, this is horrible.
I know.
How do people think it's okay for them to present you with this kind of offer just because they assume your situation has put you in a particular box?
Vulnerable place.
Yes. But I was very fortunate that I had a few good people around me. And I guess for me, it was more like I had this strength of, I'm just a very resilient person.
Yeah.
But it wasn't without a lot of mistakes along the way that I have learned. And I'm using that right now to really help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like when women reach out to me and say, oh, Dr. Oh, you're so strong. I just want to be like you. And they say, look at your life, you got divorced and you just kept going. You didn't stop and we see all that you're doing. And they say all that. And I'm like, slow down. Slow down.
You don't see the work behind the scenes.
Yes. And I say, listen, Linda, remember that? Linda, listen. It's not like that at all. And the first thing I say is, if there is any possibility at all that you're able to salvage the situation that you're in, please explore that possibility.
Of course.
Before you throw in the towel. Because the things that I was able to weather and walk through, trust me, if I tell you half of it, you will pass out. And you might not have the kind of backbone that me I have. Me, I'm savage, like people say. I'm just a weird kind of being. But I am very thankful.
Absolutely.
Extremely thankful that I made that decision. I am very thankful that I weathered the storm. I'm very thankful that my kids turned out and are still turning out okay.
Absolutely.
That experience in the past 5 years has made my children and I a whole lot closer.
Absolutely.
We are so close-knit as a family now. My kids have not had to suffer. Like when kids come from divorce homes, they have all kinds of behavioral issues. Yeah, my kids are still kids, don't get me wrong.
Of course.
But on a more general level, people will always say, oh, your kids, like in school, they're performing well, they're doing everything they need to do. They're doing really great. Because that was my biggest fear.
Of course, that it would impact them.
Becoming a statistic, right? But I don't feel for any reason that I'm a statistic. Like,
at all.
I made a decision, I made a choice, and I'm living with it and I'm owning it. But I feel like it has opened my world up to a whole lot more possibilities.
Yeah.
And it has given me the kind of courage that I never knew I had.
Of course.
And then along the way, just almost at the same time, I decided to become a full-time entrepreneur. Like, who does that?
Of course.
You get divorced, you don't live that marriage with shishi, like, you don't live with anything, like nothing. And then you now decide, you're going to leave your job and start hustling on your own. But in 5 years, I've been on that journey.
And look at you now.
All by
Business owner.
myself. Jesus. God has been so good.
Absolutely.
So I have a lot of reasons to be thankful. And I have become, it's just the woman that I've become, the person that I have become. I did not get bitter through the process.
Yeah.
I got better.
Word.
I did not get bitter, I got better.
Word.
It's very rare for you to catch me talking bad about my ex-husband, for you to pulling him down. No. He's the father of my kids. We co-parent and all that.
Of course.
So I've experienced a lot of growth, personally, spiritually. I'm still on my way, by the way. Like, I still have a lot of work on me yet. But for that, I'm very thankful.
Absolutely.
And it's a journey that I always use to encourage people to say, look, if I was able to do it, now I'm navigating single motherhood. And I hit those labels like, I'm just Oyinkan, I'm just Dr. O that has children.
Yeah.
You know, in this season, I'm by myself. So, you know, I try to stay away from those labels, yes. But I'm just who I am, and I'm still living a good life and looking forward to a better future.
Absolutely.
Because I honestly believe in the possibility of an amazing family unit with a committed, wonderful partner.
Of course.
And eventually when that happens, that's going to be a new season for me.
Of course.
So that is my gratitude story for this year.
Wow. What a story of triumph.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Thank you.
How do I top that?
All right, guys.
Okay.
We will be back to hear Tolu's gratitude story for this year's Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have so many reasons to continue to be thankful, because we are definitely thankful for you.
Absolutely.
Are you living the life you dream of daily? Are you expressing your creativity while earning a 5 to 6 figure income annually? Do you enjoy helping others reach their goals? What would you give for the opportunity to be part of a $500 billion industry that not only meets all these needs but offers an ever-growing and profitable lifelong career plan? If you answered yes to all of these questions, then you are the right fit for HD Pro Global Beauty Institute. We offer 3 online self-paced training and certification courses, 9 in-person training with starter kit options for each module, 5 training manuals developed and curated for the lifelong learner. In addition, our mentoring and franchise program is available to get you started with our business in a box package. Register online at www.hdproglobal.com, or you can call or text 1-469-420-0246 for more information and inquiries. The HD Pro Global team is ready to help you master the art of transforming bodies and physical appearance in 90 days or less.
All right, guys, welcome back. You heard the very moving story from the doctor and how she made it through. I think I'll go back in time to when I started this music journey, because of course a lot of people know that I started off as a musician. You know, so
he's still a musician. In fact, maybe he's gonna sing for us today. Thanksgiving melody.
She's always trying to.
I'm always trying to set him up, like, and he always walks into it. Boom.
But anyways, I was born and raised in Kaduna. 2010, when Project Fame was advertised, and they needed contestants from Kaduna, my town. I was doing gospel music, just singing in church then. But people were like, you should go for this thing. You have such a great voice. And I was like, no, maybe not me for mainstream. They were like, you should. And out of, I think, 1,500 of us that auditioned in Kaduna, I was the only one that was picked.
Look at that. So now it's really, you've made it, it's like Tolu is 1 in 1,500. He is 1 in 1,500. Hashtag that.
And I was grateful for that. But I remember I sang the song I Believe I Can Fly. And T.Y. Mix at the time told me that, don't worry, you're flying to Lagos because you're representing Kaduna in this competition.
Nice.
And in the first season of the first pilot and everything, I made my mark, and everybody was calling me the Fela boy because I did a Fela song. And killed it. But I finished from the show. I didn't win anyways, by the way. So that's not where my story's ending. I did not win, and I had to stay in Lagos to find my footing in the entertainment business. Now here's the problem.
So you just left your family
in Kaduna. So after the show, instead of going back to Kaduna, of course I didn't want to go back home a failure. Of course, because I didn't win. So I wanted to stay and just take my chances in Lagos. And I didn't really know anyone in Lagos. I made some friends, and I got this guy that wanted to give me his floor to sleep on.
Oh, wow.
So I was in Lagos 2010, 2011, 2012. The floor was my bedroom.
3 years.
Yes, for 3 years. It was in 2014 that I eventually met Sean, the guy that signed me on the Allegheny Records. And that was when they introduced me to Don Jazzy, and the rest is history. But the thing I want to highlight here is the fact that in those 3 years that I was always sleeping on the floor, and of course the guy I was staying with was still trying to find himself as well. He worked in a bank, but young guy trying to make his way, that kind of thing, and trying to get up the ladder of life and success. We had rats. So yeah, we had rats. So anytime we go to bed at night, I would wake up multiple times in the middle of the night because a rat was climbing me
Are
or
you serious?
crossing my head.
Oh my God, have mercy.
I know. I never told her this story, so she's experiencing it the same way you guys are.
Rats, creepy crawlies. I hate those suckers. Oh my goodness.
But I endured that, for that time frame, and it was from that. The key thing I want to note here, it was from that same floor I would dress up and go do shows, and people would scream my name and say, "Toby, you're amazing!" From that same floor. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I would go to universities and perform. Nobody knew I was, at the end of the day, after the hype and everything, I was finished and still come back home to the floor. And
the plight of the entertainer in the Nigerian industry.
Exactly.
It's so sad.
Because you're not A-list, so you're not necessarily paid. They tell you things like, we want to give you all a platform to showcase yourself. We're trying to help you.
You're trying to help people.
So I did a lot for that 3 years, I was doing a lot of shows trying to showcase myself.
Ooh.
I wasn't getting paid. I was getting skinnier.
How were you surviving?
It was crazy. Me and my friend, because he was the one making income.
Yeah.
So sometimes he would just buy like a pack of Hungry Man Indomie, the big one. And that would be dinner, one pack. We would just have that. Sometimes we would not eat the whole thing, just save it for that one dinner that you eat and just go to bed so that you feel like you're full.
So you don't go to bed on an empty stomach.
Exactly. Or sometimes we just do, I don't know if you know this, guys, we'll go do Ewa going
Bread agege.
and burger gige, and that the big size Coke.
Jeez, Weeze. But no. That was the bomb that come down.
Yeah.
Like, that is the bomb.
That food is the only, with 50 naira, you're alright.
And then, that thing will expand inside your
Of course.
It will fill every part.
They call it trailer man meal.
Leprous meal.
Exactly. So, but I did that all that time, still believing, in myself.
Yeah.
Still, even though you could tell that this guy is not doing very well by his look, of course I was getting skinnier.
You were so skinny, eh?
I was. But I would still wear my coats, because I can't call them suits.
Yeah, coats. Because my dad will already like coats.
I wear my coat and still go and perform and deliver, That's to show you a testament of how my mind was working. The environment didn't look like where I wanted to be, but in my head, I was right there.
Good.
And before long, I got signed in 2014 and did songs with Don Jazzy, did songs with Tiwa Savage.
Yeah.
People were, saying, "Oh, this boy's on the rise." Before, of course, the transition to America. So basically, the reason why I'm grateful is that I had to pass through that experience. It humbled me, because some people, they're very entitled, because they've never been through a lot.
Yes.
Right? So for me, I'm able to appreciate where I'm at now because I've been through something. I know what it's like to be a rat. But
pun intended, by the way.
Exactly.
All the pun intended. Oh my goodness.
I'm grateful for that.
Oh wow. Oh my goodness, rat stuff. Seriously, you know what though? Look at how far we've come.
Yeah.
And I would never have known that you had to go through that.
Yes.
And it's sad, but it's joyous, because
Of course.
I feel like the quality of person you are today, you have all this amazing talent, but you have such a good heart. You're very humble, you're kind, and that's way more than anything that. Whether you're famous, you have talent, but if you have a nasty, horrible attitude, or if you're just a horrible human being.
Exactly.
Period, So I'm grateful for you.
Yeah. And I'm sure the rats are too. At least I speak a little rat.
Oh my God, who speaks rats now? So you can understand rats. That's good, that's
I'm
good.
kidding, guys.
No. But well, I'm still trying to
Process the
rat story because there's so much more to the rat story, guys.
Yeah.
But I guess as we are finishing up this episode, I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned through my journey and why I'm extremely grateful is the fact that I have developed a mindset that believes for the impossible. I have developed an awareness of a possibility that exists, that I can actually manifest something from nothing.
Yeah.
That I can believe God in the most dire moments, knowing that He will come through.
Yeah.
That I don't have to be beholden to anybody. That process took me out of man dependency to absolute God dependency. Because I did not have, because really when you go through those low moments, you lose a lot of people.
Of course.
Not by choice, but people just, for some reason, they just cannot bring themselves to embrace your choices. And because they don't understand it, just by human nature, they fear or question, or they just have some type of feeling about it, and it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't hold any grudges against anybody because for every disappointment that I experienced in that moment, it taught me something more about myself.
Absolutely.
I was able to dig deep and just be extremely resourceful. So now I go through some days when my business and things are up and down, but I have reached this equilibrium with God where I'm like, it's okay.
Absolutely.
It's always going to be okay. I did a podcast on money a couple of months ago when I first started my podcast, and I said, God gave me a revelation about money then that said, look, money is a spirit, and it answers to certain things within you. And He said to me that if money is a spirit, and He, God, is the Father of all spirits, what does that tell me about my access to money?
Of course.
It was at that point of revelation that I understood that there is no reason for us to be apprehensive or to worry. Because at any point in time when we need it, if we're able to believe and understand how it works, it will come.
Absolutely.
So there is no need. And that's why, when people have this love of money and they worship and they're like, money, it's like, it is a spirit.
Of course.
That you, God person, made in the image of God, has the ability to control the attraction or whatever. So, a lot of things.
Exactly.
So I am grateful for so many lessons.
Yeah.
So, Tolu,
Yeah.
summarize that story. Because you told me something like, beyond the rats, your health was in jeopardy.
Yeah, I was eating poorly and I had a gastrointestinal infection to the point I started throwing up blood. The guy I was staying with thought I would die, and he, out of nothing, of course, because medical attention in Nigeria is expensive. There's nothing like insurance, by the way. But anyways,
and they won't even treat you if you don't pay.
Exactly.
You just die there like chicken.
So he took me to the hospital, and he was scared. He had to go run around, borrow some money. And they did their best. I remember I was out for almost a week. Unconscious. And when I finally opened my eyes, that started with, little things like PAP, because my intestines were weak at that time. So they had to gradually wean me into it. But the bottom line basically is I couldn't tell my parents at the time that I was going through that, because that would be the end of my dream. Because I was in Lagos to chase my dream. And I didn't want my parents to shorten the journey.
They want their son. They don't care about that dream.
Exactly.
They just want their son alive.
Of course, but at the time, my rationale was like, if I tell my parents now, this is over, it's done. But I survived that, and look at me now. It's just I'm grateful that in that moment, even though I didn't tell anyone, I didn't die, because I could have died. It was that critical, but I'm here. Yeah.
So, the rats didn't kill you. The gastrointestinal infection didn't kill you.
Nope.
Boy, ain't nothing gonna kill you now.
For real. I'm invincible.
Yes, 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 yes. So guys, listen, think about it. Everything that you go through in life, as long as you're waking up every single day and you take a breath, there is a purpose behind it. So rather than complain, whine, gripe, or whatever it is, I tell you, the only thing you need to do is just say thank you. Because if you wake up to see another day,
It's a gift.
it's a gift. And the possibilities become endless again. It opens up. Thank you guys for watching our Thanksgiving episode. We're grateful for you, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Next time.
Bye guys.
Bye, guys.